Welcome to a Pneuma conversation, a place where the unseen becomes seen, a space where the silenced become heard and where the rejected are accepted. Together we breathe. Together we remember that we are all remembered. We are all loved and we all belong. These are the conversations that remind us what it means to be alive. Today we're in conversation with Patrick DeWolf. Patrick, welcome back to the conversation.
Well, thank you for having me again, Chad. It's good to meet you.
Of course, it has not been quite a year since we've had you. Season one did not last quite a year, but that's okay.
Yeah,
A lot of changes have happened, but it was last year that you were on, and
yeah,
we had an incredible conversation, and we learned that you and I are saying something very similar,
yeah,
and you are posting photos
yeah,
and
true.
videos of a lot of what some of the things I talk about, and so we're gonna get into that more into that this conversation because I'm also loving the stuff that you're putting out there. So we're gonna do that. So let's just jump right into it. You're ready?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
let's do it.
So Patrick, what has shaped you into the life that you are living now?
What has shaped me? Um, yeah,
That's
that's
a
a big
loaded question.
question. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, overall, it's quite easy. It's experiences, and
Hmm,
it's the things I've experienced that put me on a certain trajectory.
sure.
Um, And usually you're not really aware of it happening. You know, it's small things that happen over time that kind of point you in the right direction. So the more I think about it, the more it takes me back. And um, I keep on going back further, thinking about events that were actually quite similar, but I didn't really pay attention to. And yeah, I think that also refers to the fact how everything is connected, right?
I was just going to ask you that. You're seeing that in your own life. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So it's from one thing leads to another.
Yeah.
But I think in general, when it comes to like, let's say my work and the content that I'm putting out, and especially the spiritual side of it,
Mhm.
which it obviously has, it kind of started, I think, around 2012.
Okay.
I think this was a time for everyone to really like reflect and have a look at your life. And I think many people were on this kind of like spiritual journey, discovering like a part of themselves and maybe wanting to change things. It just made you really reflect. And I think that happened to me in a way that I started to wonder, like when I was small, when I was little, like let's say a child growing up, like my grandma would always tell ghost stories or stuff like that. She really believed in ghosts. And my mom was very much the same. So for me, growing up as a child, this was a thing that was, yeah, it was real for me. So when I grew up in my teens, I started to put it away a bit. I started to also detach a bit from spirituality, but mostly from fear and not understanding the duality. Like I couldn't deal with the fact that there was this normal, conventional world, and that there was a place for spirituality.
Okay.
So I was kind of started to become the opposite, and um, I think it was until like beginning 20s. So I think this was around 2000 and let's say, yeah, well, yeah, I think around 2012, that's when
Mm,
I really started to just think about that. And I'm like, what if it is real? Or what if these things that I experienced that I told myself it's not, it
mm.
was just a dream or it wasn't reality. Maybe there's something more to it. And I started to explore um, stuff like meditation a lot more, and also my dreams, my own dreams, and the meaning of them. So that's when a kind of like the duality came back, and
Okay.
it started growing in its own way. So suddenly I could like combine the two.
If you could remind everyone what is it that you actually do?
What is that I actually do?
Yeah, yeah. What's the work that you're doing? Your
Yeah,
company is your business is called the Wolf Cinematics. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
take us through that just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was always a creative person. So by heart, I'm an artist. I'm a creator,
Mhm.
and I used to focus a lot on music,
Okay.
creating music, background music, and just wanting to also, um, yeah, maybe make a name for myself in music. Or
Okay.
some one point, I really started to focus on cinematic music, so music for the big screen
Mm,
and composing music. And that's really a thing that I wanted to do, and
mhm.
maybe do movie trailers,
Okay.
stuff like that. So I considered myself mostly just an artist, a creator. And that was mostly it until a few years ago that I really
Right.
found like opportunity to, I was actually like maybe since a year that I could really combine it in a way that I was like, yeah, this is it. And that's yeah, that's maybe the name that you know, like the Wolf Cinematics,
Mhm.
is really when I started to combine it all and it started to
Okay.
make sense. And before that, it was just a music video, or
Okay.
I try to combine gaming videos with music, just anything to draw attention.
Mhm.
But I didn't really have a message, so that was quite
Okay.
convenient when I started to um, yeah, run into this thing that was really worth, it was bigger than me.
Hmm.
Like I didn't have to draw the attention to myself, but I could just show people something else and
Yes.
complement it with my own music, and create enough atmosphere to make people look and think about it. Because that's what you do with music. You create a lot of attention, um, you create a lot of momentum, emotions. You can get many things across just by choosing the right music, playing the right
Yeah.
note.
Yep.
And I think if you combine that with the right visuals,
Mm-hmm.
I think that brings you a long way. So when I started seeing, um, yeah, what I call the UAP phenomena, like orbs and yeah, crafts in the sky, lights, I was like, yeah, this is it. I can make this work. I can make people look.
That's cool.
Please create something that I found was much bigger and much more important than what I ever did before.
Mhm. And what you're talking about, we'll transition a little bit here.
Yeah,
What you're doing is not just getting people to look up in the sky. And that's what we want to talk about today. And you hear me say often, and the audience hears me say often that we are all remembered, that we are all loved, and we all belong.
yeah,
And this season, this second season, well, actually, the essence of everything I do, it's not just this season, but I'm going to be more vocal about it, is that I'm creating a place for the unseen and the seen, and a space where the silence can be heard and the rejected are accepted. And I'm not just talking about humanity.
mm, yeah. No,
There,
that's,
there is a whole other world
there is. Yeah,
that I'm inviting us to acknowledge, which is what you are. So I'm saying it in words, but you're showing us.
yeah,
what if this isn't just a speck of dust? What
Yeah,
if
what?
this is a living presence? What if something else is going on here? Or the way you manipulate the light? What if that's not just a rainbow? What if it's something more?
Yeah,
Love that you're doing that. And again, you and I are doing the same thing. And so I'm glad that a lot of people don't know we're working together behind the scenes on some things.
yeah,
Because you and I are saying something very similar.
yeah,
And so look, can you get into that from your perspective? I'm going to ask you, I asked you this question in the last time you were on. I'm
yeah,
going to ask you again.
yeah. Just keep on
Um,
asking.
yeah. Because in this past year, you and I've had some more clarity, so we can
Yeah,
discuss it a little bit more. That unwrap this question a little bit more. But what do you think
yeah,
is happening that you are able to see all this?
yeah. Um, well, I have like, there's two sides of me. Like, there's
Okay.
the analytical side,
Hmm.
that likes to really look at the physics and the mechanical side. And then there's the more spiritual side.
Hmm.
So, like, let's say the more symbolical, or I can look at it from a symbolic perspective
Sure.
also. And I think there's a point where the two meet.
Mhm.
And so, like, let's say if we take it from the science perspective, when you go to like quantum mechanics and quantum physics, there's the observer effect, and there's stuff like superposition, quantum entanglement. And I think something happens when we put our attention to something and we have a clear intention.
Hmm.
And I think that counts for for everyone as an individual, but also as a collective species.
Yes. Yeah.
Like we do, I believe we do share like some part of the reptile brain has a
Mhm.
collective
Okay.
awareness. And I think that has a lot to do with how reality manifests, how we experience it, but also how it's moldable for
Okay.
each and every one of us. So um, what I'm showing is something that is clear to see for everyone, but it takes you really like to the edge of that space where um, quantum physics almost touches our base reality.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
particles that we can see. And when you look at the UAP phenomena, I think there's much overlap how it behaves, the technology that's supposed to be behind it. I'm not even sure if it's um, real mechanical technology or that we have to lean into spirituality at some point because
You're gearing me up to ask the question I want to ask.
yeah,
Keep going.
yeah. So that's the so it's hard when somebody asks you like, yeah, what are we seeing exactly? What is happening here? And I think it's quite clear that you see that light is moving and behaving in a way
Right.
that it's technically it's not supposed to do.
To do that. Yes.
But
Yes.
then we're reaching a stage where I'm reading articles every day about how they discovered something new about light and how quantum particles interact. And um, yeah, I think there's just a lot more possible than we're led to believe.
Yes.
Mainstream, there are enough people in science that dare to take the leap, but they don't get much of a voice. So
Well,
but they are there, and I
yeah.
think mainstream is just something that has to catch up with ad science. That's usually the case until it becomes mainstream science. And we might be at a point like that where we're about to discover new things that could maybe explain why we're seeing exactly what I'm. show me.
Exactly. You know, you mentioned the spiritual aspect,
Yeah,
which is the Skywatcher community, but well, a lot of the Skywatcher community on TikTok is talking about this. So you and I are part of that community.
yeah,
Um, in the mainstream, it's just beginning to get talked about. Maybe there is a connection here between what we're seeing and spirituality.
yeah.
At the time of this recording, I just actually have just finally heard Chris Bledsoe's story. You all have been telling me I need to listen.
Oh
Well, I
yeah,
finally had the
it's a good
opportunity to do
story.
that. So,
Yeah,
so an incredible story. So I encourage,
yeah,
all of you who are listening, if you don't know that story, look him up, Chris Bledsoe. You understand a little bit more what we're talking about here. What if there is a spiritual connection to all this? And
yeah,
it has less to do with with crafts and
yeah,
ETs
yeah,
and more to do with our consciousness, our spirituality, our alignment, and I'm going to say the word frequency.
yeah,
What if everything is about frequencies? And what we're seeing with our eyes in the sky, or what we're seeing with our eyes that come down, is because we are tuned in that moment to a particular frequency.
yeah,
And what happened with Chris Bledsoe and also Travis Walton, I think his last name was, and so many other stories like that. What if their frequency was tuned in, whether they were aware of it or not, and the universe responds to frequency because that's just what it does.
yeah,
And because of what happened to Chris, we'll just talk about Chris and his family for a moment.
yeah,
Because of what happened to Chris and his family, they were not ready for it, and so it caused fear.
yeah,
You
yeah.
understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah. I've thought about that so much
Okay,
and
okay.
so many times, and I think Chris, the Bledsoe family, they're a good
Yes,
reference point. Like let's
yes.
call it a reference point
A
because
reference, yes.
yeah, like I said, for me it started a couple of years back, like 2019, but like I think since a year or so, it really like took shape. And
Mhm.
um, that was also part of the documentaries I've seen about Bledsoe.
Yeah,
And until then, I wasn't too sure if it was really happening and if what I
yeah,
was seeing
yeah,
was really
yeah.
something. I thought I was still trying to debunk the satellites in the in the airplane theory. And I remember seeing him just point in the sky, like reach out his hand. And then one showed, like he kind of like, I don't like the word, how they call it, summoned
Yes,
the orb, but
right, right.
I would say like um, he made it appear. It
Mhm.
appeared as soon as you reached out. And so maybe he invited it or something like that.
Sure, sure.
But I was like, you see, like that's the exact thing that we're seeing, you know? And I
Hmm.
was like, he just reached out his hand. And the moment I did it, one appeared like right where I pointed in the sky. And it was crazy, it was there for like maybe I think 30 seconds, and then it just it went away. And like for me, that confirmed it. Like this is really
Yeah.
something.
Patrick, I'm going to ask you a personal question, but it's a very thought-provoking question.
Yeah,
What if this has been happening for quite some time, for
yeah,
thousands, hundred thousands of years, and it's what the political system and the religious systems covered up
yeah,
because they didn't want us to have our own experiences, because if we had our own experiences, they wouldn't be able to control us.
yeah. That's
Do you think that's possible?
oh yeah. I think that's
That was really what the witch hunts were about. That's really what the
yeah,
Crusades were about. That's really what
yeah,
all the wars were about.
yeah. Like I don't want to go too
Right.
deep on religion, but
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, I think
No,
the
again, I don't just
stories
don't
that
mean
we read.
religion. I mean the political system is what the whole
Yeah,
structure
yeah,
that has formed our beliefs and
yeah,
our what we're the way we're living.
yeah. No, I believe also in religion.
Yes,
I think mainly the stories that we learned and the stories that were passed on through the ages.
yes,
I think there's a lot of wisdom in it and knowledge, but there's
right.
also a lot of uh, enough space for people to um, make misconceptions and stuff like that. And
Yes,
there's enough space for control and all the human aspects that we have that can
yeah,
maybe yeah, have a bad influence. So um, I think when you read the books, it's always the same pattern, and there's always some guy or some woman that's like totally different and
yes,
doesn't believe that you need big entities to worship and stuff
right.
like that. So with that, I mean stuff like the church or
Mhm.
and that's you don't have to be controlled, that you have enough power yourself. I think that's mainly why yeah, they don't like the real spiritual experiences
Yes,
because it gives away power.
yes,
And if people know that they can have a close relation um, to their God and it's personal, they don't need the church or anyone in between.
exactly.
Yeah, that's when it gets a bit dangerous. So um, I feel that we're now really like nearing times where people are starting to discover this for themselves. And
And
I
there's a
think that's
shift
like a
happening in
ripple effect.
yeah, and there's a shift happening in humanity.
Yeah,
We all
that's
feel it, and I
yeah,
think these are the Chris Bledsoe story and others. They're all
yeah,
evidence of that, because
yeah,
there's enough of us saying we want change.
yeah,
There's enough of
yeah,
us saying we want unity.
yeah. We want unity and we don't want to be divided. And
Exactly. Yes.
we want love and understanding and not hate and war and stuff like
Yes.
that. And it all just sounds so simple, but the world is so complex that
And I'm learning, Patrick, even to love those who are bald-headed. I'm just
yeah, we need to. We need to. It's important.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But and like you have done in your own life, and what I'm helping others to do is it starts here.
yeah. Everything starts there.
Love starts here.
Yeah,
It doesn't start by pointing the finger for everyone else to do it first.
no,
And so there's enough of us that on this planet in this frequency, if I can use those terminologies, that are
yeah,
saying we want unity.
yeah,
We know that we have to be the change. And I think the unseen world is responding to that.
yeah. I think that's like the main, you could say, the collective awareness that's
Yes,
like starting to really manifest in a way that everyone gets like sort of confirmation. And that's
yes,
also what we see happening, what we see happening now in the world. It's so obvious. It's so obvious who are the bad players and the bad characters, and it
yes,
gets more and more obvious.
it does.
And the more obvious it becomes, the more we start to see. So it starts to become a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
But that's usually like the singularity, yeah. And then it just sinks in, and everyone starts to behave accordingly. But
So,
it
yeah,
takes
go
a lot
ahead.
of stress. So who knows what might happen in the next few months? I don't know, but
Yeah. So let's get to your videos.
yeah,
You're actually going to share some videos with us, kind of show us what's going on and dissect them for us. So
yeah.
I think my settings are correct. You should be able to share your screen with us now.
Okay.
So
Let's see.
This will be great.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
And don't worry about turning on the volume because the Zoom speakers can't on my end can't pick it up for the audience anyway. So
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll
yeah, so
just turn it
just
down
mute
a
them
bit.
and just let it roll. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to first start with a video that clearly shows the phenomena that I've been showing mainly, um, and how it started actually, and that's the orbs and the spheres. I had them all lined up.
Okay. It's, we're not going anywhere.
Let's see if I can- Yeah, no, it should be easy. Yeah, should play.
Okay, I think all you have to do is hit your share button at the bottom of your screen, and then that should we should be able to see your videos.
Yeah, but I have to need to play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, that works. I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I'm not sure it's working. Yeah.
Yes, we got it.
Okay.
We got it. So take us through this first one.
So here we
Nice
this
logo.
is a video I took at night,
Okay.
and I'm using infrared.
Okay.
So now the thing about infrared is that it's a spectrum that we can't see with the naked eye, but it can, if you get a device that has infrared, you can see at night.
Okay.
So, but because it has a broad spectrum that we can't see with the naked eye, you also see things that you don't see with the naked eye.
Like that.
So, for example, this sphere that you see
Yeah.
flying around, if you would stand next to me without a camera, you wouldn't see it, but I could see
Right.
it clearly flying around.
Mhm.
So here you can see me scanning the skies. And at first, I would just look at the stars and maybe yeah, orbs just passing by, but high up. Wasn't really clear if it was a star or not, or a satellite, except for you see it moving, of course. But then I realized that there was a lot flying around me and much lower. And so I really wanted to understand what this was.
Okay.
And as you can also see clearly, like it's transmedium, like it can go through the trees or to the walls.
Yeah.
It can seem solid and bright, but it can also seem very transparent. So yeah, when you hear the news and stuff, or like the army talk about um, transmedium capabilities and crafts going into like mountain ridges and stuff like that, it it shows a bit like this. So it
Okay.
doesn't always show as a craft, but maybe more as a light.
Hmm.
And then it's not so weird to think that it could pass through a wall or something if it's
Right.
made of light.
Right. And if it's a frequency,
Yeah, because
it
light
can
is
move any way it wants to.
yeah, I mean, how is light made?
Yeah.
And that's, I think you would also come down to frequency, vibration, and energy. So again, I wanted to study that phenomena.
You're right.
So I wanted to show you this one here
Okay.
because I started thinking like what could cause a sphere or orb to appear high up in the sky, or maybe with the correct lighting. And I studied the movements, how they moved and behaved. And so the clip I show here is actually just a sun ray coming in the house, and it's catching like the dust particles.
Okay.
So I'm sure you're familiar with this um, effect. Like you see,
Yes.
it looks beautiful, and it makes you aware that you need to clean the house
Yeah.
because it's so much, right? Only
Right.
with certain light you see it,
Right.
and you start thinking like all this stuff is just floating around all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And so I started thinking like I should study that. Like what is
Mm.
happening? Like are these particles in any way moving maybe in the same way? Or maybe I can see orbs here also, just the way that the light hits the dust particles and stuff. So I started looking at it just because I found the movement very similar.
Okay.
And so if we look at all the particles here, after a while, it gets hard to believe that these are just dust particles.
Right.
Because every now and then you just see some rogue particles going. So this is a thing that I just kept on studying over and over, different conditions.
Mhm. And what are you doing with your hand right there?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can maybe trigger a
Okay.
response,
Okay.
um, or maybe the other way around, like maybe I can influence the particles, even if it is dust.
Mhm.
You know, is there a way that is there a connection between us and the phenomena?
Right.
So yeah, you see some interesting movement here, and I think it's always just good to observe without judging.
Right. Right.
So and
There's one you just posted recently, and I think you sent it to me this morning.
yeah,
It had a lot of light. I think it's the 1, 2, 3 down in the middle. If you bring
it was
your
this one.
Oh, it was this one. Okay. Okay.
Was it this one?
That was one of them. It was,
It,
but the one with the light, the brig light. Take your cursor over one more. Back up. There you go. That one. Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
that one. That one. That one's. Can you talk about that? That one's really cool. I like that
yeah,
one.
yeah. Here we yeah, I'm trying to break it down so as scientific as possible, but it gets weird real fast. Because what you see here is basically a flare
Okay.
from the street lantern. And I can't really point at it, of course, but so it's a light source.
Right.
But the flare is overly dramatic and it's moving. And that's what caught my attention the first time, because it's not supposed to move
Do
like
that.
that
Right.
unless something is modulating the light bulb. So something is happening. So maybe I thought like, oh, it could maybe be moist on the lens.
Okay.
So then you have to keep on studying it. Each time it happens, film it, and just watch the patterns. How is it expanding? You know, how is it moving? Um, and yeah, from as far as I can see, I don't see any traces of moist or water on the camera, uh, since yeah, there's no blur. Everything is just really sharp.
Were you standing and
Yes,
taking this picture, or is this something you have mounted outside your home?
this is just my camera CCTV,
Oh, okay.
and I'm zoomed in quite a bit now.
Yeah.
So that, but it's just at 1080p, so it has a normal resolution.
But the way it's moving, that's what you're bringing attention to, right?
Yeah, it's
It,
the moving field of light.
and we're asking, why is it doing that? Because we're told that it's not supposed to, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So why is it doing that? Yeah, look at this. Um, there's a few possibilities. You could say like um, yeah, maybe magnetic waves. The
Okay.
electromagnetic waves are acting up, or either way, it has to be an anomaly. It's not normal. And
Okay.
there's nothing conventional that could like explain it except for water on the lens, but then it would have to be more, um, it would have to show. You would have to see traces of water, and that's just not the case.
Okay.
So it could be with moist in the air, and then lights get diffused a bit, but they shouldn't move the way they do because they move in a way that's too neat. The shapes don't really glitch or anything, and that's if there's um, if it was more organic way of moving, light moving or being scattered or something, you would see it break down geometrically, and that's not what happens. It just stays fixed as a shape. It moves as a shape. It can go around corners or just
Okay.
move one tiny bit of the spectrum. And so I think it's intriguing, but I think it comes down to communication.
Okay.
So something is modulating the light and showing that it can do that.
Are
And
you, when you're watching this, are you feeling something inside you? Is there
uh,
anything happening for you?
well, it's just a lot of um, curiosity and just
Okay. You don't
wondering.
feel anything speaking to you, or you're not having
Yeah,
uh
for me, it feels like communication.
it
So
feels like
for
communication. Okay.
I'm not so sure what's on the other side, but I'm sure it's intelligence. And something intelligent is showing something and playing around almost,
Yeah.
like a sort of yeah, just a, like the cool teacher that's trying to show you tricks like, hey,
Sure.
I guess what I'm doing now, or,
Yes, right.
is he looking like, just, I don't know. It kind of speaks to me in, like I want to understand it. So
Mm.
the more anomalies I see and I start analyze them, then after a while it just starts to make sense like a puzzle. And then the next thing I see answers the previous thing.
Mhm.
And that's how I'm kind of like led to believe this is communication about probably something that has to do with portal or gateway technology.
And you're not presenting this as facts. You are presenting this as I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
Something is not adding up here. Something, but in what is it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can sit here and preach the way I think it is.
And
And
yes.
I
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
that all day, of course. But
Yeah.
I think in the end, it's more important to ask the right questions. And
Yes.
um, if we want to get further and really understand this and get to the bottom of it, I think it's good to be humble and to just start watching the patterns instead of trying to decide in advance what it could be. Um, but like I said, like I do have reasons to believe that I'm really convinced that it has something to do with portal. Um, I could say technology, or maybe just the nature of how our universe works as a holographic universe. And if you think like the holographic principle, that's basically some studies that have been done, and there's a theory that this universe is holographic.
Yeah.
Then all these things could make sense in a way. They could be very much holographic.
Would you say, yeah, I think we have time for one more. Would you say, Patrick, that in order for something to have life, it doesn't necessarily have to breathe the way we do and procreate the way we do?
No, I think there's like when you zoom out, there's consciousness,
Okay.
and I think that's where everything starts.
So you would say consciousness would equal life, in your opinion?
I think consciousness expresses itself in every
Yes.
um, dimension, uh, everywhere we look, because we're an expression of consciousness ourselves. So I think what we call living and breathing is not necessarily, um, uh, well, you could call that life, and the other things that don't breathe and don't follow those laws of nature are not living, but they could very much be present and
Okay.
aware and conscious
Yeah. Well, to
without
me,
having
that's
to
life.
breathe.
To me, that's living. But
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
And I think consciousness also has a lot of different levels of
Mhm.
consciousness. But I think the main essence is almost everywhere we look and we give attention to.
Yeah.
It's like all around us. And there's just so many ways that it can express itself.
Mhm.
Like, of course, plants and flowers are conscious, but they're not, there's a big part of the world that is not really, that doesn't see it that way. They feel like,
Right.
but it's not
Yes.
alive like us. But yeah, it truly is.
That's right.
So I think it's also a matter of perspective, how we look at things. And I believe um, that a lot more is possible when it comes to life out there.
Yeah.
I think we have to be very open-minded how that could present itself.
And this is where, I go back to the one of the things I say. We are all remembered, we are all loved, and we all belong.
Yeah,
Because whatever is happening here, obviously it's happening because of something intelligence that created it.
yeah,
Whether it's God or spirit, whatever, this is happening with us.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Go ahead and pick one more, if
Yeah,
you
well,
don't
I'll
mind.
show you because we had the particles, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So I really started to dig into my surroundings, like where can I find the phenomena? Where can I find the same space where I could maybe find the same pattern?
Okay.
And so, yeah, dust was really a thing. And then so when we look at this clip here, I started doing this practice.
Okay.
And what I do here usually is I interact with my hands. I block the sun, or I try to find like a point where I can create some nice flares with the sun or some geometrics. And I kind of feel it also like a magnetic, uh, or if you hold two magnets close to each other and they push each other away, kind of that feeling.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, I'm blocking the sun and I can have a look at all the particles. And then they look like dust specks. But then when you keep on looking, and this is just with the naked eye, you will see the bigger orbs appear. And yeah, you see them here.
Yeah. Yep.
See one?
Yep. Here comes another one. Yep.
Another one. So these are not dust specks. But they're tiny to the naked eye, so it's easily to dismiss. And so, well, you can imagine if there's so many dust particles in the air, and then with the sun hitting the atmosphere, it can create a lot of dispersion and stuff. And that could technically already make you see orbs in all types of colors. And who knows what happens at that point, right?
Yeah.
When it catches the light under a certain frequency, maybe dust doesn't really behave like dust anymore at that point because it can get
Sure.
ionized, and that when it ionizes, you can get plasma. And plasma is something that looks way different. Like here, for example, this was in my backyard at night, or this was early in the morning, maybe 5 o'clock, 5 a.m.
Okay.
And there was a lot of like fog still. And so I went out because I know then if you take a flashlight, you can see lots of particles. And that's a spectrum where you can start to see the orbs come in. So here also you see the particles, but then you already see how the particles behave. Like they have their own kind of trajectories. They change their mind halfway. They go up, left, right.
Yeah.
And then in between, you see the bigger orbs.
Yeah.
And if you really study this, like if you look at it fast, like, oh, it could be snowing or something, but it wasn't
Right.
snowing. This is just moist particles. But when you hold the flashlight and you really look at it, what it's doing exactly the same stuff as you see here. Only on a camera, on a video, it's easier to observe. And then you start to see the patterns, like something isn't making sense.
Right.
And and you can see here the amount of particles and the way that they move. It almost looks like a school of fish.
Yeah, it does. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Yeah. Even
And
if
so,
even if you're, I mean, even if there's a rational explanation, you're still saying, but what else is it? Is it more than just the rational explanation?
yeah, like the rational explanation would be like this is just moist particles,
Right.
turbulence, and that's why you see them like a draft catches it, and that's why they go up or down. And that can happen
Yes.
occasionally, but it shouldn't be going on nonstop all the time. And
Okay.
um, maybe if you look at it, maybe I think I would say 60% is behaving accordingly, and the 40% is just out of line, and they're doing their own thing.
Okay.
And on camera, you can slow it down. You can really look at it frame by frame, and it just shows that um, there's particles in between that do not behave like dust specks or just moist particles or just atmospheric particles. They show intelligence. What you see in a school of fish or like small jellyfish, you can see that there's intelligence. So that's something worth looking into.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to stop sharing. We may have to do it on your end.
Yeah. Stop
Uh,
sharing.
there we go. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add on that? I mean, you're asking some really interesting questions. Whether people agree with us or not is
That's another side of
it's
the
another that's another
conversation.
conversation.
Yes.
But this is
Yes.
what you're doing. This is what you're finding in your life. This is what's happening for you.
Yeah, and I think it's just it's still maybe a bit hard to really perceive at first. But once you start seeing lights in the sky and you start encountering UAPs, your world gets a lot bigger. And yeah, I think it really depends on your own set and setting, but like the psyche, where that will manifest. But I think there's a law of nature that it's everywhere and that you can find it everywhere if you look hard enough.
Yes.
Because it really, like, I think the most crazy science we have is like quantum physics. And I think that's where the phenomena starts. And then, yeah, you have to start to accept that maybe there's a dimension out there where your laws of physics just don't really make sense anymore.
Yep.
That's uh, that's my thought behind it.
That's great.
Yeah,
Well, I'm definitely going to put your information in the show notes so that people can go look at those videos you've done. They can analyze them, they can pull them apart, they can, take more
yeah,
time with them. And then
yeah,
your info will also be there in case anyone wants to get in touch with you. So it's been a pleasure to have you back, Patrick.
yeah. Well, it's been an amazing chat.
It's
Always love to sit down and have a chat.
yes. Patrick, with where you are in life right now, what are you learning?
What am I learning? Um, I'm learning to yeah, trust in myself.
Mm,
Um, the things that are like deep within and that they are true. And yeah, just it's you have to be open-minded and you really have to look around and stay awake, stay aware, because the danger is really um, thinking that you know it all,
mm,
and it can really make you blind in a way.
yeah.
And so I think that's something that I really learned, like to be more humble and
Mm,
open-minded, that there's a lot more possible than I even think is possible as a
yeah.
believer. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Patrick, will you end with us in the breath and
yeah,
stillness like we've done before? And then I'll bring us to the end.
yeah,
So, all right. May we remember that we are all remembered. We are all loved and we all belong. And as we open our eyes, we bring the stillness with us into every part of our lives. Patrick, it's been a pleasure.
yeah. It's great seeing you again, Chad.
This has been a Pneuma conversation. Thank you for sharing in the breath. Together, we've remembered a little more of what it means to be human. Until next time, breathe.